everybody, and welcome back to another Crystal Corner class. I am Lorelei, and today we go back to the beginning. We start at the very beginning of the zodiac, and it is Aries season. Woo! Can you feel it when it's Aries season? I mean, really, it is like the instigators of all of the things. Our Aries brothers and sisters are the ones that are like the first of the fire, the first spark of life. Obviously, spring, I chose my background, especially for my Aries friends. So we are at the beginning. We are at the beginning with Aries, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys about Aries today. So it is the first sign of the zodiac, the first of the fire signs, the first in the cardinal modality, the first of the houses, the first of the seasons, and the spark of life. In the spark of creation, this is Aries. So they also kind of like it that way too. Honestly, they love to be the first in all of the things. They're the first to create. They're the first to spark and to initiate, to move and to command. They are the newness of life and all the curiosity of a new child. They spark the interest of so many people and possibilities in general. They like to spark opportunities and projects, although their follow through tends to be a little bit meh at times. I mean, granted, there are some that do a great job with follow through, but I feel like that is sort of like the thorn in a sense. So if you are an Aries, your birthday is between March 21st and April 19th. You are the first, obviously, of the cardinal modalities. Your symbol is the ram, and your ruling planet is Mars. So you are in the first house, and your mantra is I am, which is also the mantra for our solar plexuses, believe it or not. Your ruling body part is your head. Your colors are red and mustard, and your tarot card is the Emperor. Now, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, as I was saying, and that's pretty much how they like it. They like it that they're first in all the things. And that's how those born under the sign see themselves, as first. Aries are the leaders of the pack, first in line to get things going. Whether or not everything gets done, that's another question altogether. So for an Aries, usually prefers to initiate rather than complete, if you know what I mean. So if you have a project that needs a kickstart, that's when you want to include your Aries counterpart. So by all means, make sure you get them on board. If you need a spark of creativity or an idea, those are our RDA mans, those are our Aries friends. So the leadership displayed by an Aries is most impressive. So don't be surprised if they can rally the troops against seemingly insurmountable odds. They'll find a way. They have the kind of personal magnetism, and an Aries sign won't shy away from new ground. So, so let's talk a little about the characteristics and the personality of an Aries, although we've kind of touched on it just a little bit. So Aries' archetypal traits are derived from its active, masculine, or yang qualities, making the sign oriented towards assertive engagement without the outer world. Alive in both an Aries woman or an Aries man, those born with the war god as their rising sun or moon sign have initiatory energy in their core personality, like the power of rebirth in spring. As a cardinal sign, the ram holds the qualities of leadership, making those with Aries in their charts great at pioneering projects and taking the front line in strategies. Natives from this sign can be thought of as the first responders of the zodiac that will fearlessly and impulsively spring into action, reacting immediately to and thriving in crisis or challenges. So you do well under pressure, Aries. Being ruled by Mars, the red planet of war, this sign seems to always be battle ready, which is important in emergencies where swift action is needed, but can be intense in day-to-day life when the stakes are not necessarily that high. So calm, cool, and collected is not exactly a real strength of an Aries, if you know what I'm saying. So some of the weaknesses of Aries. So some sources of weaknesses or potential blind spots in the Aries archetype are the flip side of all of their great strengths. So Aries' directness can come across as blunt, harsh, and even cruel if they are not managing their stress levels very well. Since this sign values quick decisions and acting on gut impulse, they may have trouble being a patient, receptive team player. Ooh. So communication is potentially the biggest challenge of all for the Ram, who may already be out the door by the time the conversation is getting started. Though they may benefit from listening to others, they may not enjoy hearing recommendations or advice, preferring to learn from direct experience. Again, this could be a strength in the right circumstances, but their rash decisions could be self-destructive and affect others as well. So let's talk a little bit about the cardinal modality with an Aries. So cardinal modality is for Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. The cardinal houses are the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. If an astrological chart shows a preponderance of planets in these houses, its energy is weighted towards cardinality. So cardinal signs are the initiators of the zodiac. They are also found at key jumping off points on the chart wheel, specifically the ascendant, medium coeli or MC or midheaven, descendant and emum coeli or IC or individuals processing a cardinal modality like to get things going. They are active, quick, and ambitious, and many projects get started thanks to the cardinal initiative, although a good deal of them are never finished. That's because cardinal folks are much fonder of starting things than finishing them. You won't find a cardinal person slacking off, however. So these people are full of vim and vigor and possess a drive and an ambition that is unmistakable. Enthusiasm and a zest for life fill the cardinal individual. So some might perceive this rampant energy as domineering, and at times it can be. Cardinal people can easily forget about the rest of the pack when they're busily focused on their own endeavors. Even so, their energetic spirit often wins the day. Cardinal folks are clever and want to win. They love to start things, and whether they finish them or not, there's always a lot going on. Naysayers who find them to be too self-centered will simply have to watch and marvel as they speed on by. So let's talk a little bit about the 1st house, which is where Aries lives. The 1st house is commonly referred to as the house of self. The cusp of the 1st house is the home of the ascendant, the sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at the precise moment of one's birth. By thinking of this in terms of sunrise and new beginnings, one begins to grasp the concept of the 1st house. The new beginnings here are centered on the individual, the self, and the attendant voyage of discovery that define a person. Who are you? What will you become? How do you realize your best self? The 1st house speaks to the realization of one's ultimate potential. This process of becoming a unique individual is one of the greatest contributions we make to the world in which we live. The distinct qualities that we possess are often referred to as personality. The 1st house addresses the individual and their comportment and approach to life. In other words, the sum total of one's being. This is the package we give to the world. The packaging itself, or our outer being, is also governed by the 1st house, the physical body and the way in which we present ourselves, and in particular, the head and the face. The 1st house also rules childhood. Everything from our earliest steps in our view of the emerging world is considered here. How will we develop? What is our view of life? It all begins at the beginning, the 1st house, and serves to shape us for all time. In some, the 1st house speaks to the person we are becoming and will become, both internally and externally. It addresses our personality and our presentation to the world, our essential qualities and approach to life, demeanor, and basic sensibilities. The inner self and the outer body are what the 1st house is all about. The 1st house is ruled by Aries and the planet Mars. So let's talk about the planet Mars. Why not talk about the planet Mars? Because that is one of the most essential planets. I mean, it is literally what really embodies Aries as a whole. Mars is the action planet of the zodiac. The red planet, after all, should be pretty fiery, and Mars does not disappoint in that regard. Energy, passion, drive, and determination are all right up on Mars's alley. This planet commands you, and yes, Mars does rule the military, to stand up, be noticed, and get things done. Sitting on the sidelines belongs somewhere else in the heavens. Simply put, Mars speaks to the power and the confident expression of the individual. So ambition and competition are also within Mars's realm. Whether it's at work or on the field of play, Mars encourages us to face challenges and to be our best or better. So aggression is part of the plan here, although Mars also values courage and honor. Assertion and a daring, fearless nature pleases this planet. And it's important to note that Mars's energy can be constructive or destructive. The god of war in the ancient times, Mars can be brutally violent. While this energy still emanates from the planet, it also asks us to harness this force for good. Stamina, ambition, and achievement are also a part of Mars's mantra. Mars rules our sexuality and our sexual energy and governs weapons, accidents, and surgery, the least two illustrating the yin and yang nature of this planet. In the end, however, the energy of Mars can be quite useful if used properly. It takes nearly 2 years for Mars to complete its orbit around the zodiac. It is masculine energy and rules both Aries and Scorpio and the 1st and 8th houses. Okay, so Aries is a fire sign, and fire signs are also Leo and Sagittarius, along with Aries. So the element of fire is also very important and notable for the sign, as it is a very fiery, lit up sign. So let's talk about the element of fire. So fire is associated with Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, and is also ruled by the 1st, 5th, and 9th houses. And as one would expect, those graced by fire and are fiery indeed. They're enthusiastic and sometimes larger than life. Just like fire, that is left untended. However, fire signs can burn out of control, so it's best to tend those embers. A fire sign is also an indicator of creativity. This element manifests itself in creative and unique ways, and those in its glow are wonderfully courageous and lively in spirit. Those influenced by a fire sign are self-sufficient, spontaneous, and possess a tremendous zest for life. It also stands to reason that a combustible fire signer would be ardent in the game of love. Yes, these are the sexiest signs of the zodiac. Hey man, I like to think that water signs are sexy too. And yes, I'm being hella biased here, but I'm just saying, like, okay, I get what they're putting down, whatever. It's a fire sign. Whatever, I'm just being stupid. I'm going to bust that out here. Oh my God, that's so dumb. So yes, these are the sexiest signs of the zodiac, knowing that they are the cat's meow and climbing ever higher in the name of love. To their credit, those touched by fire are often an inspiration to others, certainly for their adherence to solid moral and religious ideals. If there's a flip side to the element of fire, it can be that those who bear it will be overly strident in getting their way, call them bossy even. These folks can come across rather forcefully. Selfishness and an overdeveloped ego can also be seen as part of a fiery individual's shadowy side. Fire signs are strong, self-assured, creative, and fun. When they get too hot to touch, though, it may be a good idea to stand back. Compatibility. So obviously, usually fire signs are going to do great with other fire signs. They have an affinity with other fire signs, and they will understand each other's impulsive, spontaneous nature. Leo and Sagittarius can handle Aries' heat and are individualistic enough to take Aries' need for independence personally. Aries with Aries has the potential to be a great match as they forge an easy partnership in life's challenges. Difficulties could arise, however, if they don't have a common battle, as they may turn on each other to debate, compete, or fight. So Air signs. So air signs bring a natural complementary energy to Aries as air feeds fire, stoking it to grow and become more alive. Gemini and Aquarius bring playfulness, sociability, and curiosity to these signs' sense of adventure. Libra, ruled by Venus, brings softness, fairness, and peacefulness to Mars-ruled Aries, and they potentially have an opposites attract connection. Together, they can be magnetic or polarizing. Aries teaches Libra to put themselves first, while Libra teaches Aries some tact and the benefit of compromise. Water signs. Water signs may have the biggest challenge with relating to Aries, even though they may bring vulnerability and emotional intelligence to help cool and counterbalance Aries' brash, reactive tendencies. Cancer can bring their nurturing yet cardinal individuality to the relationship, which Aries can respect. But Pisces may be too sensitive and private to fully relax with impulsive Aries. Scorpio, who is also ruled by Mars, can bring some potency and affinity to the relationship, but there is potential for power struggles and deep emotional triggers between these two signs. Now, earth signs. Earth signs can be potentially stabilizing for Aries. So Aries' impulsiveness with Capricorn, the authoritative cardinal sign, earth sign, have the fortitude to stand their ground when Aries' temper flares, but Taurus may not want to change their methodical pace to suit impatient Aries. Virgo may be too detailed focused to fully appreciate Aries' affinity for chaos. In general, when Aries joins forces with earth signs in work, they can cover a lot of ground together, with earth signs offering the practicality and the dependability to collaborate and help Aries see their bold ideas through. Let's talk for just a very brief moment about herbal allies. And the herbal allies that I have here are stinging nettles, aloe vera, and peppermint. And those are really, really great for bolstering some of that fiery mentality. But then there's some parts of it like aloe vera and peppermint that tend to cool some of that fire a little bit. So whenever you have like those sparks of ideas and things maybe getting away from you, Aries, peppermint and aloe vera would be an amazing coolant for that extra fire that you may be carrying. And stinging nettles are sort of a balancer in a way. And that would be really good to have in a tea or in a powdered supplement in capsule form. So let's talk for a minute about the symbolism and the myth behind Aries, which is partly one of my favorite things about learning about the different zodiac signs is the different myths and symbolisms behind them. So Aries zodiac symbol is the ram, named for the stellar constellation this sign corresponded to by the astrologicals of the old world. The symbol of the ram goes back to Babylonian times when it was associated with agriculture and the god of shepherds. In Egyptian astronomy, the ram's association continues through the sun god Amun-Ra, who had a human form and a ram's head. Amun-Ra ruled over fertility and creativity, vital forces that set spring and regeneration in motion. In Greek mythology, the ram saved Phrixus and Hele, whose golden fleece became the prize of the story of Jason and the Argonauts. The name Aries is derived from Ares, the god, or Ares, the god of war, the Greek god of war. So anyhow, let's talk a little bit about the tarot card, which is the Emperor. So Aries correlates with the number 4, the Emperor. This card depicts a resolute warrior king archetype seated at a throne decorated by the ram's head. This card tends to signify joining forces with a strong ally in challenges, facing a strong adversary, as well as moments in life when we need to call upon fearlessness to claim the personal authority of the Emperor to assert ourselves. So that pretty much covers Aries, you guys. And I tried to do this a little bit more compact so we can get to the crystal. I'm going to do one more thing on Aries from my book because I absolutely love what this book, so this is my book here, if you can see it. So this is my secret book of birthdays, my not so very secret book of birthdays. So anyhow, some of the things that they have in here is the element of fire, quality cardinal, ruler is Mars, symbol of the ram, mode is intuition, and your motto is I am. So there are different periods for an Aries. So there's the cusp of Pisces Aries, which is March 21st to the 24th. And this image is rebirth. The second period is Aries 1, which is March 25th to April 2nd. And this image is the child. The third, which is Aries 2nd, which is April 3rd to the 10th, the image is the star. The fourth period is Aries 3, which is April 11th to the 18th, which image is the pioneer. And lastly, the final cusp, which is the Aries Taurus cusp, April 19th to the 20th. And the image for this is power. So some of the different things here are they have plants here. There's a poppy, a thistle, and a fern. Your colors are all shades of red. Your body parts are head, face, upper jaw, cerebrum, and cerebral spinal system. And your notable attractions are Gemini, Leo, Libra, and Scorpio. So some of the personality traits in regards to Aries are, Aries signifies the first 7 years of life. The Aries personality can be likened to the human organism, which must be nurtured in order to survive, but soon undergoes a series of developmental steps which help it understand its surroundings. This new being also starts to impact on its environment, gaining language, perception, socialization, and other survival skills in the process. Like young children, Aries tend to be spontaneous, frank, and open, but also self-centered and willful. Still innocent, they apprehend the world with awe and wonder. The urge to be the star and to shine is strong in them, but equally so the impulse to explore. So Aries, generally speaking, do not seek approval to bolster their egos, but rather demand that others pay attention to them, since they know the value of what they have to offer. Self-doubt is poison to them. But unless they learn the value of introspection, they run the risk of breaking down when their high self-confidence is undermined. Aries need to explore their physical limits, much as children do, in order to develop properly. They tend to prefer action and contemplation. For them, the best way to deal with a situation is not to ruminate on it at any length. So really what this says to me is that Aries is sort of like a flash pan. They don't their fire is more of like a spark, and they don't tend to really hold on to things for very long. So I think that's one of a strength. That might be like a rose and a thorn to you, Aries, in a sense where it's like you're able to come into situations and you may react impulsively very quickly, but you learn the lesson and you move along very quickly. So everything is very fast paced for you. And I think that is a strong attribute, but can also be a little bit challenging because sometimes maybe you didn't get the full story behind it because you're already 10 steps ahead instead of seeing everything for what it is because you haven't slowed down just yet. Aries must have to learn to withdraw from life periodically in order to gain objectivity and study problems from a distance. Aries often display a strong desire to lead. Those who manifest this need to be first, yet lack the necessary executive or leadership skills to do so, will find themselves frustrated, even prone to self-pity. At their best, Aries can be truly original and idealistic pioneers, but at their worst, only novelty-seeking, unfeeling, and egoistic. Okay, so let's talk about the crystals. So I have a couple here, and I absolutely love pretty much all of these, but I mean, because they're crystals, and I love crystals. So the very first crystal that I have for you today is citrine. So citrine, like the Aries individual, is full of energy and vigor and vitality. It helps promote the energy of manifestation. So it's perfect for the energy of Aries, which is all about new beginnings. So this zodiac stone also helps Aries to accept criticism and make positive changes based on that information. So this is going to be really good for you going forward, Aries, because as you tend to get into more projects and find more ways to promote ideas, you're going to want to be ready to take criticism. And this is going to be a way that you can do that more positively. The next one I have is carnelian. Now, funny enough, I don't have a separate stone of it, but I'm wearing some. So Carnelian really speaks to the sacral chakra area of our bodies. And this is full of passion and drive and also sexuality. So carnelian matches that fiery energy because it is such a fire stone. It is a fire stone. So if Aries feels as though they are losing their fire for any reason, they can use this stone to reignite the flame. It brings passion and courage at the time when they might need to be feeling it the most, when they're feeling deflated or defeated. This will be the vic and vigor that gets you back into that mode. But note, use the stone with caution if you're an Aries. It can sometimes overstimulate that already fiery energy of Aries, and that can result in self-centered behavior. So it is best to balance the stone with one that is more calming, like aquamarine or even clear quartz. Now, clear quartz also, I feel like, can be very amplifying too. So find one that's more cooling if you're finding yourself overstimulated. So let's move forward to rose quartz. So rose quartz encourages selflessness and unconditional love. So this is a very gentle stone, and it has very gentle energy that is sometimes all the things that Aries need and can benefit from to balance out a more aggressive nature. It can be helpful for Aries to always carry rose quartz no matter what, because it will allow them to open up to other people as opposed to only being in here. No matter what other crystals they are using, this is going to be something that really, really helps you. So it is really powerful for you because for you, Aries, you are very in yourself modality, but having love for yourself by being unconditional, and that can be really soothing as well, being gentle and being kind and being loving instead of aggressive, that Mars energy, not being too overly assertive. This will be very helpful in that regard. So let's move on to black onyx. Now I have this as a blade, and I know before some of you were like, oh, who you gonna cut, girl? No. So this is for cord cutting, but this is one of the best stones to use for all things that in regards to cord cutting. And then also for Aries, it reveals new perceptions and insights that help them go full steam ahead for their personality to come from a place of personal strength. So this Aries gemstone offers an energy that is centering and balanced at the time when Aries gets a little too heated. And it also helps them overcome any fears that might be holding them back. So this one is excellent for the Aries individual. So let's talk about aquamarine. Now, I know this seems a little counterintuitive to the Aries individual because you want to see things that are really going to balance out their fire or really bolster it. But aquamarine is one of those that's very cooling and calming. So why would we pick this for Aries? So when the Aries nature is a little too fiery, they can use a water stone like aquamarine to help tame the flames. This Aries stone can help them bring more flexibility into their endeavors as they flow with the tides. So this is really important to utilize, especially if you feel like you're getting a little too over the top. The ideas are flowing in and maybe you're getting a little too aggressive with maybe other people that you're working with. Maybe a little bit of would help you a little bit. Okay, let's move on to clear quartz. So I have two of them here. So clear quartz, this is a pyramid. This is really great for healing, and especially if you have specific areas that you need to amplify, the little point will be really wonderful. So actually, I think this is a tower. I said a pyramid, it's a tower. And then this is just a polished stone, clear quartz stone. So how would this work for Aries? So clear quartz brings a calmness to the passionate and ambitious nature of Aries so that they don't forget to consider others as they forge ahead to achieve their goals. It can be used in conjunction with any of the other crystals and to promote more balance. And if you are really like you are burning bright right now, Aries, or what have you, this might be good to pair with aquamarine or rose quartz or both. I'm so glad I was able to hold all of them at the same time. My hands are kind of small, so I'm glad. Now, if you feel like your fire is starting to diminish a little bit, then this would be good with your carnelian. This is not carnelian. labradorite. So this is carnelian. So anyway, pair this with the carnelian if you really need to like bolster that energy or that fire back into your engaging, very fiery, very spark that you have. So anyway, let's talk about emerald. Why emerald? Now I have some raw emerald here. So the new beginnings that Aries brings requires a certain amount of hope, and emerald provides that. So this is also an Aries stone, and it also is known as the prosperity stone, which is often important during new beginnings, obviously, right? Because if we're starting a new beginning, we want to prosper. We want to really move forward and forge ahead. So it carries a very uplifting energy that will help Aries bring positivity to their forward motion. So, right? Who would have thunk? Emerald. And it's not as like those pretty emeralds, like the fancy schmancy ones, but whatever. So the next one I have is red garnet. So garnet is the traditional zodiac stone of Aries. It offers courage, strength, and success in new endeavors, but it also protects Aries from others who might deceive them and encourages respect from others. This Aries stone is the ultimate vitality stone, providing all the energy an Aries needs to pursue their new beginnings. So a couple other ones that I wanted to add on there are bloodstone, which I don't have on here, but we will probably have something nicely here. Bloodstone. I also have mookaite, which I absolutely love this because mookaite is extraordinary for grounding, for really motivating that creative, passionate energy, but then also amplifying this willpower and this sense of purpose and I am. It is all of these lower three chakra bodies that it really hones in on and balances and amplifies and helps make healthy. So mookaite is going to be extraordinary for the Aries personality that really drives from this area. And having that root chakra, that grounding, will really help you sort of follow through in some of these projects and really balance and structure some of those ideas that you might have, Aries. Because I know sometimes it can be like, they're coming, it keeps coming in and it's coming out. And this will be really helpful to help you like, okay, this is how I'm going to get this shit done today. Okay. The other one, I don't know why this didn't come up on a lot of the other websites, but sunstone. I feel like sunstone would be exemplary for the Aries individual because with this comes positivity. And sometimes when we get really initiated in our projects and really going and starting and like we have all of this passion and drive, sometimes it can get very overwhelming, and sunstone will help you to remain positive in that whole process and moving forward and doing these projects and these ideas. And if you're an entrepreneur, which a lot of Aries are, this will be really great to maintain your positive outlook on what it is that you're trying to do. So anyway, that's it. That is the Crystal Corner class for Aries today. I really wanted to keep it down, like not super long, because I don't want you guys to be like, oh my God, is she ever going to get through this? Like, can we be done now? So anyway, that is it. So I hope that you love this. I hope that you're enjoying your magnificent Aries season, getting those projects started, really basking in the Vic and vigor of the season where things are growing, things are new, things are absolutely beautiful, and you're really just taking it all in and finally starting that new journey that maybe you've been waiting to begin. So here we are in Aries season, and I look forward to talking at you again for our next zodiac sign and crystals is Taurus. So I'm really excited to talk about our Taurus loves and all of their amazing energy that they bring that is just so grounded and so focused, but also super bougie. I love my Tauruses. They're so amazing. So anyway, I love you guys. I look forward to talking at you again soon, and I'll see you again with the next class. Bye.